You know, I hate to say it on the public record, I'm a little bit of a nerd. And the comic is my natural habitat. I think that way, I dream that way. I think there's a lot of dynamic storytelling potential in that form. So I've always been drawn to it. I've made them since I was a kid, and I've been taking it seriously since I was an adult. And now I find myself in Calgary pursuing a PhD in the English department. Dirty Water Comics is a boutique publishing house that specializes in literary comics. That idea came from myself as primarily a maker and a comics writer. And as I was early in my career, I was seeing some of these pretty skinny publishing offers. And I thought, you know what? I think I can do better. So I fell into publishing. I haven't looked back since, and it's really amazing to start to curate some external talent. I'm really enjoying the editorial side of this. My desk is kind of covered with storyboards and progress we're collaborating on. Our focus is curating stories that challenge or reimagine the way people view history. We recently published a time-traveling adventure where Bernie Sanders and I go back to medieval England in search of the roots of white supremacy. I'm really interested in work that highlights the systems that might be so common that we're almost unable to see them. So maybe the perils and benefits of multiculturalism, or exploring ideas of human rights in new and surprising ways. Dirty Water Comics has done a few long-form graphic novels like Christy Pitts and Canoe Boys. Every story has an ideal format. Christy Pitts needed to be a comic, and it needed to put storytelling first to affectively, emotionally immerse readers in what it would feel like to be a newcomer Jew arriving in Canada in 1933, experiencing both the rise of Nazism and fascism in Europe, but also the palpable conditions of anti-Semitism and swastika clubs in Canada. And being caught between those two worlds, I didn't want that experience to be an academic one. I want it to be a visceral one. You could really feel in your chest and understand and be able to develop a sense of empathy. I think the challenge for what I do is that we're all situated as creators. My background is in the Jewish community. These are the histories that I grew up with. But part of my interest is curating and highlighting histories that might be unfamiliar to me, and knowing that the histories that I'm familiar with might be unfamiliar to people with different backgrounds. Calgary has this unique focus of research creation. So I can dive into the archives and get a critical understanding of my work academically, but my final product is creative, and that really lets me break through to new audiences. My PhD is research creation based, so I'm taking a risk in making a graphic novel that will form the dissertation. And this graphic novel project will tell the story of the Jewish and the Arab soldiers that fought with the British for promises that would fulfill their national aspirations. So you have these two minoritized groups that are living in the region in an uncertain time when the world is embracing nationalism. So in this multiplicity of storytelling, I want to both highlight the incomplete nature of our histories while also offering us a broader framework or a broader view of this time in history. So for me, that looks like reading personal accounts, reading memoirs. So I've gone to the archives in Israel. I've gone through primary source documents. I've read through soldiers' journals. And this really informs the emotional content of my work and getting a feel of what was important to everyday people during this time in history. I really try to do justice to the viewpoints as best I can based on these primary sources. Comics are an exciting, dynamic form, and there's so much research in comics creation and also critical academic research in what that form does to be excited about right now, and I'm just happy to be surfing that wave.